let me ask you a little bit about your memories of free agency. Now, refresh my memory.
It wasn't as good as it is now. I know that.
What year did you go through it?
I went through it. It seemed basically like every year because I was on a year-to-year contract. But I went through my best time that I went through it. I would probably say was after the 2004 season when I was with Minnesota. Charlie, turn the Celtics game on, please. When I was with Minnesota, I came off a really good year with 71 catches, some touchdowns, so some good yardage. And, at that time, that was, really good for a pass catching tight end. If it was those numbers today, I'd be like the kid Trey Burton. I'd be signing a nice chunky deal. But back then, so I came off a good deal and a good season. And, you're looking for it. You're waiting for it. You're talking to your agent and, everybody's basically blowing smoke up your ass and telling you, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and it comes down to really finding it. You got to find that one team that's willing to move on you and take a chance. And, I had a couple teams, but no one really wanted to really, go stretch that money out. So I ended up back at Minnesota. And ultimately, I wasn't that first tier free agent. I was, one of the third level guys.
Did they ever wine and dine you? What was your best experience in terms of getting wined and dined?
They didn't wine and dine me. I'll tell you that. I was, like I said, I was a third tier guys. It was no whining and dining. It was more, my agent and talking to him and them saying, oh yeah, we like him, this, that, the other. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about some of these first tier free agents, they don't really wine and dine these guys because you're really signing, like you said, because especially with the tampering, you're ultimately you have your deal done, before you can even go anywhere. And usually it's like those lower level, like tier 1 players that go to a couple different places, like a Jordy Nelson, for example, goes to a couple different places and that kind of thing. But for me, I was like maybe a tier 3 type guy. And it was just take the best offer that came.
Well, here's what I found, and I've covered the league since 1990. When it first started, it definitely was a whining and dining circuit, right? Because you remember Reggie White took this grand tour. You would have thought he was a visiting potentate from another country. He went everywhere, and everybody threw their best pitch. Now, the news cycle and the speed of free agency is too fast for tours. Very few guys, maybe a Jordy Nelson, maybe Ndamukong Suh will want to take a couple, but most everything happens now in that first wave. All the real big deals happen in that first wave. Right. And I remember when I first started covering free agency, you might remember this. Remember it would start at midnight on such and such a day, and we would all stay up to the stroke of midnight, and invariably the Washington Redskins would have someone signed and sealed at 5 after midnight, which just told you they had tampered at the scouting combine with the agent. But it was a process that happened, and I never understood this. It happened overnight, that first night. And I was always thinking, what are you thinking, NFL? You're stepping on your own show. Why are you putting it on overnight when nobody could follow it? At least they have smartened up, and they give people a chance to turn it into an entertainment vehicle now. Did you ever go through the midnight waiting for the phone to ring?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. The midnight thing was, like you said, it was for those top tier guys. And generally, as soon as midnight hit, boom, guys they were signing those deals. Those deals were getting done. The 5 years, $25 million contracts with 12, 13, 14 million and signing bonuses. But I was, like I said, as a third tier guy, you kind of gotta wait. The first tier goes, then like the second tier goes, and then you're like one of those third tier guys that are kind of in that range. So generally for you, it ain't midnight. You hope it's midnight because that means you're one of those guys. But generally, for guys that were in my position, it was a couple days later to try to figure out which team what team was the best fit for you as a player.